Welcome, everyone, to our annual private equity panel. We're glad to have back on several luminaries to start the year off with their insights. We're joined today by Tara Zahiri, Vice President at Mainsail Partners, Steve Ressler, Managing Partner at the Bryden Group, Cheryl Strom, Partner at the Riverside Company, CJ Orico, Managing Director at Greater Sum Ventures, and Rohan Chudasama, Vice President at PSG Equity. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Let's just start with a round of introductions.
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Tara Zahiri. I'm a vice president on the team at Mainsail Partners.
I'm Steve Ressler, co-founder and managing partner at Bryden Group. We're a talent-first private equity firm focused on B2B, B2G, and healthcare software and services.
My name is Cheryl Strom. I'm a partner at the Riverside Company.
My name is CJ Orico, and I'm a managing director here at GSV.
Hello, my name is Rohan Chudasama, and I'm a vice president at PSG Equity.
Thanks. Now, let's dive in. You've had a chance to look over how we see the trends driving M&A. So what are the key tech trends you are seeing that tech company CEOs should be considering in the year ahead? Let's start with you, Tara.
So I'm going to start big picture, and then I'll make my way down. So the biggest impact trend that I see on the horizon is generative AI. This innovative technology is quickly becoming table stakes for all successful software companies, and I believe it'll only continue to grow in importance. To stay relevant and drive innovation, companies should be looking to embed Gen AI and be developing practices around it into their internal workflows and product offerings. Beyond that, so the power of Gen AI is really enabled by the wealth of data that companies are sitting on. So, every company is sitting on these massive data stores that really aren't being utilized. And so the key trend that I see is just monetizing the power of that data, driving better decision-making, better insights, and ultimately creating better ROI and more meaningful ROI for your shareholders and your customers. And so if you're not already, definitely be looking to implement BI and data analytics tools. The next one, so we continue to see a massive opportunity for payments. As a firm, Mainsail, we spend a lot of time in vertically oriented software companies and vertically oriented ERPs, and have found that many of these businesses just aren't realizing the value of their payments volume. And so capitalizing on payments is a strong revenue opportunity and an easy way to create more value in your business. And then lastly, so just given the current macroeconomic climate, we continue to believe it'll be important for companies to focus on efficient growth. The market today really values businesses that are both profitable and growing rather than growth at all costs. And so understanding your company's KPIs, your sales efficiency metrics, your margins is going to be really important for companies and CEOs to understand where you are in your business and help you manage that growth and profitability trade-off.
Thanks, Tara. What about you, Steve?
I think when we look through 2024, I think there's a couple of things, a couple of buckets that I think CEOs should be thinking about. So one is just talent. And so I think obviously in 21 and 22, there's kind of been this move to virtual. There's been like this move of like in 2024, like, are we going back in person? Are we doing it remote? Are we having centers of excellence where we have a couple nodes? Is our team all in the US? Are we leveraging teams in other countries? I think if you use teams in other countries, how do you make it less of like an offshore second class citizen, but actually part of your team? So talent is probably a big one when I talk to tech CEOs that they're thinking through on 2024. I think a second one, big focus for everyone is just like, we're still in the early innings of AI. So just thinking about, are there places where we can start to crawl, walk, run an AI with these large language modules, whether that's internally, whether it's support tools, FAQs, writing, et cetera, or actually integrating it into the product.
Very good. And what about you, Rohan?
So two key trends for me. The first is, I think a lot of folks, of course, seen the shift back towards fundamentals and profitability. And I think we've certainly seen that in the stock market. It's certainly not 2020. It's not 2021. And I think folks are well aware of that. But I've often been hearing that a lot of entrepreneurs and founders have gotten this concept that burn, or rather all types of burn, is bad. I think here at PSG, we really try to show that it's not just about any burn. It's really about unit economics. If we find a business that has great unit economics and understands the path towards profitability, that is just as relevant as a business that, has positive cash flow today and has strong or solid EBITDA margins. So again, at the end of the day, I think not all burn is bad, but you have to have the unit economics to prove that path towards profitability. And then number two, just like the stock market, if you try to time the market, it usually never ends up well, just my own personal opinion. So valuation, of course, is critical, but businesses often have a limited window of opportunity. And at some point, and then, that point is different for each business and each management team, but at some point, the opportunity cost of waiting to go out and raise may actually outweigh the market uncertainty around valuations.
Excellent. Along the same lines, of the top 10 trends that Corum has identified, are there any in particular that you are excited about, and why? Let's start with Steve this time.
So a couple ones that stand out for me are the top 10 trends, which are all wonderful. One is cash flow technology. So at Verizon, we only buy profitable software companies. So generally founder-led, great businesses. And so I've just seen kind of the push for kind of great businesses that get their money actually funded through customers is kind of a way to do it. And so those are the ones that we target, Brighton. I see that continuing to grow as a great opportunity. Two, reg tech. I think, at Brighton, we do a lot in government regulatory industries. I think reg tech as a sector is a great industry. So as a founder, those business areas can be tough to start. But once you're in, whether you're in with a utility or energy or government or a large Fortune 100, what's so wonderful about it is like they're very sticky customers. And if you do a good job and you treat them right, they'll want to do more with you, whether that's new features or even like actionable analytics, which is a third top 10 trend. Like I love those bucket areas. I see even more growth in that in 2024.
Thanks, Steve. CJ?
Yeah, good question. I think of the top 10 that you guys identified would be that really jumped out was the healthcare continuum one. There's these really heavy macro tailwinds from age demographic and even wealth transfer that's really driving the need and the capabilities to pay for these patients to receive this continuum healthcare. But the problem is that the SaaS solutions really need to provide the efficiency inside these groups because there's a really high demand, but there's a very low supply of actually caregivers. And we see this especially in our mental health, behavioral health, and then the senior care post-acute platforms. So in addition to this solving for this patient journey and software solutions that kind of take the patient from start to finish and into this continuum care, the other thing we're seeing along the topic of kind of these actionable analytics is this really big need and opportunity to continue to build patient outcome solutions. And there's a big focus on that for us right now as well.
Thank you, CJ. Cheryl?
So I'm excited about so many of them, but I know we don't have too much time. So I'm just going to pick one, and that is software for the blue collar professions. We have seen that as a trend and ourselves have gotten behind it with a portfolio company of ours called ToolWatch, which is providing software that's used at construction sites to help everybody operate more effectively. So we continue to see growth in software being used in blue collar professions, with construction being one, and many others for us to turn to and penetrate.
Great. Thanks, Cheryl. Rohan?
So two that really stood out to me, the first was cash flow technology. So I interpret this as more broadly, the back office of the CFO or the transformation of the office of the CFO. I think it's a great example of an often overlooked department within businesses, particularly in the mid-market. So the last 5 to 10 years, we've seen that finance and accounting departments have largely been outsourcing more of their daily workflows as part of a broader shift for digital transformation. And with that, we've also seen a proliferation of some of these best-of-breed point solutions come about, whether it's in AP automation, AR automation, tax and treasury, FP&A budgeting, and the list goes on. So we really feel that now there's a unique opportunity potentially for consolidation, but really to build end-to-end platforms that can support the back office capabilities or the office of the CFO. The second trend that really stood out to me is probably the one that got the most attention and that's Gen AI enablement. Look, personally, I think this is fascinating stuff, as I'm sure many do. I do believe it's truly multidimensional, and I think AI, specifically Gen AI, represents both risk and opportunity.
Good. Now to you, Tara.
Generative AI is the biggest disruptor to the tech space. And we really view it as a powerful amplifier for companies to drive significant competitive advantages. I think companies that aren't embracing Gen AI today will be left behind. And it's really critical for leading tech companies to be implementing it into their internal workflows, teams, product portfolios to set them up for long-term success and growth. I think it's just going to be really mission critical as we think to the future.
Great. Switching gears a little bit, what's the number one reason that you get excited about a company as an M&A target or a strategic partner? Let's go to Cheryl first.
I personally get excited about a company as a M&A target because I think it's a chance for us to help make dreams come true.
Thanks, Cheryl. CJ?
I probably have to say a bootstrap entrepreneur who's really driven, has a ton of grit and kind of a pathway to growth from both the culture fit and an alignment perspective to really give us the biggest opportunity. And I think we continually prioritize that as we talk to new groups.
Thanks, CJ. Now, Rohan.
It's a tough question because there's I think a lot of good answers here. For me, I think it really comes down to two things. Number one, maybe more the obvious answer, achieving product market fit. I will say this is a little bit more akin to our typical investment criteria and stage of company here at BSG. But nothing excites me more than a company that has done the legwork and done really that nitty-gritty hard work to figure out their product market fit. And now that they have it, they're really busting at the seams, right? They need a partner who can just simply give them the resources they need to accelerate their growth. And then number two, a little bit ironic, perhaps, given we were just talking about Gen AI and how, AI may now eat the world just as we thought software would. But I actually think despite all this great technology, and we've seen it again and again with our portfolio companies that we back, technology is just a tool at the end of the day. And in my opinion, it goes back to the operators, right? A great management team will always be something that you prefer because a great management team can adapt in situations where things are, changing quite quickly. For example, the technology landscape. And if you have a great operating team, you build that trust with them that allows you to really tackle any problem that comes, whether it's going to be from AI or something else.
Awesome. Thanks, Rohan. Now to you, Tara.
I love investing and partnering with companies that have built a differentiated, mission-critical product with a clear value proposition that they're delivering to their customers. There are so many companies today that we can, help partner with them to drive substantial growth opportunities by leveraging our experience, our network, our expertise in an effort to help them accelerate growth both organically and inorganically. And, especially at the lower end of the middle market where we mainsail focus, we just believe there are so many companies out there that have built really great products with clear product market fit and just need the right partner to help them achieve scale.
Very good. Finally, to Steve.
Yeah. The number one at Bryden that I'm most excited about when I meet a great company is an amazing founder who's found an area that they've overserved their customers. And so I think of that as like a restaurant, right? Like, what's a place with like world-class food that's like focused on customers first and really solving for their needs? And so less of just like financial metrics or the coolest tech, but like we bought businesses in the nuclear compliance training or public safety where like they start what the customers are so important and they care so deeply, and that's ingrained in the culture from everyone from support to developers to be customer focused. And so like if I meet a great founder who, when I start talking about their company, like all they want to talk about is like the customers, the problems they're solving, like that fires me up. If the founder's like, all they want to talk about is financial metrics, that's fine. I'm happy to do that. But like, I love like what business problems are solving. How are you helping customers? And then for us, for Brian, like how can we help kind of continue that journey potentially as you, move on to another stage in life? Maybe you're at retirement age, or maybe you have another second act you'd like to do.
Great insights, everyone. Thanks again for being online with us today. We are looking forward to working with you in the new year. Thanks, everyone.